I have an interesting project out in my workshop that I would like to share with you of how we're going to fix it. It's November 10th, I think, or I think it's November 11th actually, and it's cold, very cold, so I'm glad I have a nice fire. Put a little more wood in there. Here in Iowa, there's an endless supply of firewood. Well, this is what we're fixing today. This is from a ripper or a tillage equipment that they go through the fields after they've harvested the corn or the beans. They till the ground, and it broke. You'll see it broke right in two, and that's because right over here the cylinder hooks right to here that pushes the wheels down, which lifts up the rippers out of the dirt. And over time, that constant pressure on it, it just snapped right in two. So this piece of equipment you can buy at the dealership for $3,500. And I told the customer that I can do it for less, so we're going to find out what I can do it for. This is a new customer that my friend JFK told them about me. So I probably should give John a commission, but John has plenty of money, so forget that idea. But anyway, this is a 5x5 tube, 3/8 inch wall with a channel on the front of it to increase the strength. Now the channel is a 1/4 inch wall. So let's see how strong this is. We have 3/8 here, 3/8 on the side, 3/8 on the bottom, 3/8 on the side. That's 1.5 inches total. We have a 1/4 inch here, 1/4 and 1/4. So that brings us up to 2 1/4 inches of steel supporting this connection for the cylinder. So let's walk over here and see what I'm replacing it with. I bought this 5x5 tube, and it is a 1/2 inch wall. So there's a 1/2, 2 halves, 3 halves, 4 halves. We're already up to 2 inches. If you'll notice, underneath it, I have put a 1 inch plate. Now we're up to 3 inches. Instead of that channel, I'm putting this 1 inch plate. Now we're up to 4 inches. Effectively, I've almost doubled the strength. Now the reason this thing broke is whoever designed this made this plate a cutout so it could wrap around the tube, but it only sticks up approximately 1 inch. So that doesn't really give it much additional strength. In fact, it weakens it, because once you weld across this member, this tube, now you've made a weak spot on the tube, and that's right where it broke. When I make it, and we'll show a little further, I have put this 1 inch plate under here, and I'll put that 1 inch plate here and hook the lifting eye not to the tube. It will not be welded to the tube at all. It'll be welded to this 1 inch plate and this 1 inch plate. That way, the load from the cylinder is not focused right in one spot, but the load is distributed over these 3 feet. So, whereas that one broke, I'm rather confident that this design that I'm making will never break. So I'm going to prepare the parts, and I'm going to use some of these parts over again. I'm going to use these wheel hubs over again. In fact, this lifting eye, I'm going to cut it out, clean it up, and use it again. Just like that, I got it out. Now I'll have to clean it up to get it ready to put on the new piece. This is going to take me a few minutes, so I'll check back with you as soon as I get this ready. Alright, I got the connector for the cylinder taken off the old unit. I got it cleaned up, and I've welded it to this 1-inch plate. On the original one, this plate was welded directly to the tube, which caused the weakness that eventually led to it breaking. By welding it to this, and then welding this to the beam, instead of having all the downward pressure right here on the beam, I'm spreading the downward pressure over 3 feet. Another thing, I'm going to reuse the wheel hubs. So I cut one wheel hub off, and I have it cleaned up and ready to install on the new unit. I've left the old one on. I won't cut this off until I get the new one put on to the new unit. I can use the dimensions of this one to install that one. Once that is installed, then I can cut this one off and copy the dimensions from that as I put this on. These pivot points, I've cut off one side, and I will install it. I have it all cleaned up. I will install it on the new unit, copying the dimensions from here. Then I'll cut this one out and install it. So we're making progress. And now I'll start putting these together, and then we'll start shooting some more pictures to show you the next step. Okay, now, if you'll see, I have taken the point where the cylinder attaches. I've welded it, pretty much a full penetration weld by beveling this 1-inch plate. I've welded it to my 1-inch bar. I have tacked it to the main beam, the 5x5 by 1/2 inch thick wall tube. It is tacked together. I've cut the holes. I'll put in the pivot points into these members to replace the members that are there. These will go right, one there and one there. Then I'll take the cross member, I'll put that in. I will put both of these wheel hubs on it. This is the stopper. I'll cut these stoppers off and put it on. And by the time I have that all put together, we'll check in again. So I better get back to work. Yes, now I have it finished. I have it painted. and I'm ready to deliver it to the customer because he has a couple field welds he wants me to make. The original one used 1/4 inch wall on these tubes. I used 3/8. This tube, they used 3/8 wall. I'm using 1/2 inch. They used a channel with a 1/4 inch web. I changed that to a 1 inch plate. I added this 1/8 inch plate on the bottom. They didn't have anything down there. So I believe that whereas the other one snapped right into, this one will hold up. Now from the factory, I've heard you can get this for $3,500. My total material is somewhere in the neighborhood of $600. It took me 14 hours, so I made it quite a bit less expensive than the factory one, and I hope it works for the person. So now I'm going to deliver it to him, make my field welds, and this project is over.